It's Man Movie.
It's Man Movie.
It sure is. And tonight we watched a very special movie. It was made in 1996 from Miramax Studios, written by Jon Favreau, starring Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn, Ron Livingston, a few other people. It's a very famous film. It's called Swingers.
And you guessed it, Swingers.
Maybe you guessed it. We have no way of knowing. But if you did, congratulations. Swingers was kind of the movie that put Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau on the map more than anything else. I feel like it was their goodwill hunting, for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very simple story. It's about a guy who has moved out to LA from the East Coast, and he left his girlfriend behind. And I think it was the move that resulted in them breaking up. And he's having a really hard time with the breakup. This is Jon Favreau's character.
I mean, at first you're going to pretend to forget about her. You'll not call her, I don't know, whatever. But then eventually, you really will forget about her.
Well, unless she comes back first.
See, that's the thing, is somehow they know not to come back until you really forget.
He's incessantly, I think that's the right word, checking his answering machine. I think that's how the movie even opens.
Yeah.
Waiting for her call.
Yeah.
Waiting for her call for 6 months. And I think guys can relate to that, right? If you really like a girl, you're hanging by the phone. And it's kind of interesting to see it at a different time when, they have an answering machine. Now it's like you have that phone constantly with you, reminding you, torturing you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Michael, this is Grandma. We all miss you back here in New York. You still haven't told me if you got that part on the television program.
That was your last message.
His friends are very, they're really trying to help him out and try to get him back in the dating world. But the breakup is really hurting his confidence. And the thing is, he's so money and he doesn't even know it.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
That's what I keep trying to tell him. You're so money.
Could you not mess with me right now?
His friend Vince Vaughn, he's telling him all day long, baby, you're so money.
Yeah, baby, you're money.
So money. There's beautiful babies out here, and, you're not even talking to
There's
them. You're letting them
babies,
go to waste.
your money.
So you're not just like fucking.
No, I'm not fucking with
Honestly.
you. Mike, I'm telling you, you're money.
You're so fucking money.
All right, I want you to go over to that girl and I want you to get those digits.
You're money.
Come here a second, listen.
He is kind of money, though.
He is money. Money is a cool word that I feel like didn't take off. Maybe it did in the 90s. But
It has a particular meaning. What's the word for money? What does money mean? Is there another? I feel like you would have to describe money with a definition.
I feel like whatever
it's not
the
a replaceable word.
Whatever the word that kids are saying now for money, we aren't going to know what it is. And if we try to guess,
Money's a
we're gonna be
specific
well off.
meaning, though. Like you're just right as you are.
You're valuable.
You're valuable. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
You're valuable. You're money.
that's right.
I keep telling you, you're so money, Lyle.
I know. Well, I tell myself that every day. Look in the mirror. You're money. Now get out there and be somebody.
You're a bright, shining star.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's it's a good message. It's more of a young man movie. It's a movie for single guys in their 20s who are trying to be actors in LA and trying to meet beautiful babies and not having a lot of success.
Babies.
Well, that's what they called women.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this
We
in
need to
this movie,
clarify.
babies means adult women.
Yeah,
they are not
babies
trying to date infants in this movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't support that if they were.
No. When they say babies, they're not talking
Yeah.
about toddlers.
They mean beautiful legal adult women.
Yes. Just to clarify, in case anybody's confused.
Right.
So how long do I wait to call?
A day.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, then a day.
Yeah. So 2 days.
Yeah,
I guess you could call it that.
definitely.
2 days.
2 days is like industry standard.
I think that's the beauty of the movie, is that it's so relatable as a dude. It's like, because this is what dudes talk about.
Right.
Dudes go out, they hang out together, we enjoy each other's company, but part of the reason we hang out together and go out into the world is to get chicks. You know,
Right.
is to get girls. And that's what this movie is about. It's
And
about a bunch of dudes just trying to meet women.
Right, and some of the things they talk about, strategies and etiquette and game plans,
Mm-hmm.
apply today just as easily as they did in
Absolutely.
1996. And I'm sure they applied in 20 years prior to that. Since the beginning of time, probably men in caves were talking about how many days you should let it pass before you call the girl who gave you her number.
Well, they didn't have phones, but
Not in caves. All right, I took it a step too far. Maybe how many days before you send a trained pigeon with a message to the girl you
Yeah.
met at
a rock quarry
festival. Yeah.
or
Where I don't know where they met
the
people.
watering hole. I
At
met
a
this
certain-
hot chick at the watering hole. Hot cave chick.
I guess dating culture has not been around since the beginning of the time. At a certain point, men just hit a woman over the head and raped her.
Well,
We
yeah.
don't condone that. We don't condone assaults or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Of adult women, babies, none of that.
Hi, Nikki, this is Mike again. I just called because it sounded like your machine might have cut me off before I finished leaving my number. Anyway, and also, sorry to call so late, but you were still at the Dresden when I left, so I knew I'd get your machine. Anyhow, my number's 21.
Now the problem would be, I guess, when do you text a woman? And are you texting her too soon? Are you texting her too often?
Yeah.
There's a funny scene, I mean, a heartbreakingly funny scene where Favreau gets a girl's number. They tell him to wait a couple of days. He calls her that night. She's not home.
Brutal.
The answering machine picks up. He leaves her, I think, 5 or 6 messages because he keeps kind of tripping over his words. He doesn't get the phone number out before the message runs out. And then, he keeps leaving more and more messages explaining the message before.
Yeah.
And it's just a humiliating,
Terrible.
degrading. He's humiliated. And it reminded me of you. I know you've gone through that many times, the kind of humiliation and the making these mistake
few
after
times, a
mistake
few
after
times.
mistake. Just horrible, god-awful, terrible.
No, I'm more like
miserable mistakes.
No. I'm more like Vince Vaughn's character. Yeah. Super smooth, confident chicks.
I don't see that in you.
No. Well, that's just because I'm a mystery. I keep it mysterious. You know? I've gotten that. I've gotten like that or like James Bond. I get James Bond once in a while. Like, you remind me of Daniel Craig era James Bond. Maybe combined with like Roger Dalton. Is that his name?
The lead singer of The Who?
No,
Roger Dalton?
Who's the Roger Bond?
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. Yeah, a combination of the two.
You're more of a Tim Dalton, George Lazenby, if I were to say.
I don't know who those people are, but it's probably not flattering.
Those are the guys that did like one Bond movie apiece. But, I mean, they were super handsome guys, so
Oh,
even
well,
that
hey.
doesn't apply.
Oh, okay.
You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud and-
It's very relatable to anyone who's ever lived in Los Angeles as an adult also.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 30 years ago, but so many of the locations I was noticing really do seem and feel the same. Less hipsters back in the 90s.
I lived right across the street from the Dresden.
Yeah,
We've been there a few times.
right, yeah.
I've ran into the old man who plays
Yeah.
the drums. I've spoken with him a couple times.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I think he's
He
passed,
passed away.
since.
Yeah, that's a real couple who really did perform terrible cover songs on
Worst
stage.
singers ever.
They were there for decades. I guess the wife still sings. I don't know, but
I don't know.
unfortunately the man, what was his name, Marty?
Marty.
Yeah, I think he passed away.
Yeah, nice guy.
But those are real people. Those are not actors.
Those are not actors. And I will say, when I went there, I was like, they suck. But I was also like, okay, but they're super old. But then you rewind 30 years, and I'm like, oh, wait, they still suck.
They didn't get any better.
Yeah, they sucked back then, too.
But it was the experience. People they were
Yeah,
characters.
yeah. They had a vibe to them. They
Yeah.
they wore, like, would wear that same exact shit he was wearing in the movie. He didn't change. He gained a little more weight.
Yeah. And he was old in 96 too.
Yeah, he was up there. He's probably in his 60s, I'm thinking.
So I think it's a very relatable movie. Even if you weren't 20 years old in the mid 90s in Los Angeles, I think men of all eras can kind of relate to these problems.
And
That
the
was
friend
nice.
dynamic is relatable too. Like all those archetypes in this friend group. I
Yeah,
was like, I know all these people.
yeah,
All these people exist.
yeah,
The
definitely.
super confident guy, the nervous Nelly.
Yeah.
Do you dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike. Vegas!
You think we get there by midnight?
Money, we're gonna be up 500 by midnight.
Ah,
Yeah.
Vegas!
Vegas, baby! Vegas!
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
I thought it was fun that they showed the real Las Vegas because so many times in movies you see Las Vegas and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so inaccurate
Oh,
to what
yeah.
actual Vegas looks like.
Yeah,
You watch in movies, you think it's going to be Ocean's 11, Frank Sinatra, Elvis live.
yeah.
It's really just older people with walkers, chain smoking.
Yeah, you think you're gonna
It's
be
depressing.
high-fiving Sigmund and
Yeah,
Roy?
you're not going to
What's
see
his name?
Dean Martin with a highball
Yeah.
winking at you
No.
because he's long dead for one thing.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But that's just not what Vegas is.
That's not what Vegas is. Yeah. Yeah, when we were in Vegas recently, there's the Vegas girls who wear the big feather hats and they got their tits out and all
Yeah.
that shit. But you see like postcards of that. They're like, oh, the most beautiful women ever.
Right.
These women, they're walking around the strip and they're dressed that way,
Yeah.
and they just look like cheap
They
versions
look
of
a
that.
little
I'm like,
rough. Yeah.
these girls they all look like they smoke
Yeah.
meth, and they want to take a photo
Right.
with you, and you got to give them like $5, $10, and then they go spend it on meth.
Right.
That's
yeah.
what happens.
Well, I don't know. But there's marks on the. I don't want to body shame, but you see girls with some pock marks on the skin,
Yeah.
some surgical scars. Not that there's anything wrong with getting a surgery.
No,
You can
there
still be
is.
beautiful and magnificent. But you don't see it in the postcards. So when you go there
Yeah.
without knowing any better, you have an inaccurate idea of
fooled.
what you're gonna expect to see.
Yeah.
And it was fun to see a movie kind of play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
But Heather Graham, cute as a button.
Adorable.
I'm gonna go right out and
Frizzy
say it.
hair. I don't like frizzy hair.
You don't?
No. It's not
Does
my
she have
thing.
frizzy hair?
In this movie, I noticed she had frizzy hair, and I'm like, use some conditioner.
I like her style in this movie because this took place during what's called the swing revival. For a very
Yeah.
brief period of time in the '90s, swing music was popular again. The Brian Seltzer Orchestra had a couple of big hits on the radio, and of course we all remember them. I think that Heather Graham was dressed kind of in that style. I like that style on
Yeah.
girls.
I like Heather Graham in Austin Powers. I remember watching that movie, and I was
Yeah.
like, this girl is smoking.
Yeah, well, she looked great in that. She looked
Oh,
great in
yeah.
this as well.
Yeah, she does, yeah.
They did a little bit of some swing dancing there. Looked like they knew what they were doing.
I like her in Boogie Nights after she did coke for like 10 days
Yeah.
straight with, what's her name? The redhead? I don't know. An
I
entire
like it
night.
when she smashes that guy's skull in with her roller skate.
Yeah. She looks beautiful in that
Yeah.
scene, yeah.
I like a violent girl.
Yeah,
Keep you in line.
for sure. Jon Favreau, he, meets a lovely lady, and he gets over it. And they say at the beginning of the movie, they say, what does he say? Like, once you forget about this girl that he's so infatuated with, his ex,
Yeah.
once you forget about her, then she'll call you. That's when she calls you. And sure enough,
Yeah.
end of the movie. That's what happened.
That's true.
He focuses in on Heather Graham. Phone rings. Who's on the other line? His old lady.
That's true.
His ex old lady.
And then Heather calls him while he's on the phone with her, and he
Yeah.
realizes, I'd rather talk to this girl.
Yeah. So
It all came around.
And then she says, "I love you," and he's like, hangs up the phone. But when does the cycle end? Because if then you fuck it up with this lady.
Cycle ends when you're laying under a pile of dirt
Yeah, that's true.
in the ground.
That's the ultimate lady.
Well, we're not under dirt. And until we are, I say, let's swing, baby.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
I couldn't agree more either.
Yeah. Swingers.
Swingers, a true man movie.
Watch it.